And a lot of people will say, Tank is too small. Let me tell you something. Anybody that gets in the ring with Tank that is not a damn dinosaur is going to feel something from him. And it ain't going to be easy to hit him. Got boxing IQ. He may not sound like an intellectual guy when you hear him talk, but he knows the ring inside and out.
Man looks absolutely amazing. Man looks like a monster. Man looks like precision. Jake Paul cannot take those body shots.
Tank's going to kill him. Tank's going to kill him because he won't be able to touch Tank. And then...
Okay. It's kind of like the Tyson thing again, though, right? Like when there was
it reminded me of that, but it also reminded me of like, in barbershops across the world, people, or at least the country, people will talk about this and be like, oh, Tank's going to kill him because he...
The world of boxing is on fire. Gervonta Tank Davis just shocked everyone with his unbelievable transformation before facing Jake Paul. The boxing community is stunned as Gervonta Davis appears in peak condition ahead of his upcoming fight with Jake Paul. Training footage captures him hammering the heavy bag with explosive strength and razor-sharp precision. His focus and relentless energy prove how seriously he's preparing, leaving boxing experts impressed by his confidence and elite conditioning before this highly anticipated matchup. Analysts explain that Gervonta Davis has a strong chance of winning, but only if he fights smart. They emphasize that he must rely on movement, ring control, and timing instead of chasing an early knockout. Tank's brilliance lies in his patience and ability to read his opponent's rhythm. Experts believe that if he focuses on sticking and moving, Jake Paul won't be able to handle his precision and speed. Davis is recognized as one of boxing's most explosive punchers, but his defensive skills and counterpunching are what truly make him dangerous. Many agree that when he fights intelligently, no opponent at Jake's level can compete with his mix of technique, power, and footwork.
He didn't, his ability make up for that size difference, in your honest opinion?
Well, he has to be very smart throughout the course of the fight. It's hard to know in some things. I think Gervonta's just gonna stick and move. He'll be fast, play it smart, I don't see him staying still for too long so Jake can land some shots. He'll just try to touch him. Who knows, man? It's an exhibition. It's a money grab. Jake's fighting one of the best boxers.
Experts predict that Jake Paul will face a harsh reality once he steps into the ring with Gervonta Davis. They believe Tank's experience, speed, and fight IQ are levels above what Jake has ever encountered. Jake's previous opponents, though strong, lacked Tank's explosive timing and ability to exploit openings. Analysts think the power difference will be overwhelming once Tank lands clean. They describe Jake's defense as raw and untested, while Davis's ring IQ allows him to calculate every move. With that, many see a knockout as almost inevitable. The general belief is that once Tank connects, Jake won't have the endurance or awareness to recover, leading to a sudden, brutal finish.
Tank Davis look crazy, bro. Chilaquiles. Gervonta Tank Davis hitting a heavy bag in preparation for his Jake Paul fight November 14th down there in Florida. Man looks absolutely amazing. Man looks like a monster. Man looks like precision. Jake Paul cannot take those body shots. You mean to tell me somebody who done fought UFC fighters and a man with Parkinson's disease can take a body punch from Gervonta Tank Davis, and y'all basing y'all logic just because Jake Paul is big? No, Tank's gonna go ahead and put this man to sleep. I'm telling telling y'all that right now. If Tank don't put this man to sleep, he done let the black community down, he done let boxing down, and he ain't never been that nice. You Tank fans, y'all trying to give him a pass. If y'all said Tank is as skilled as y'all say he is, if he does not put Jake Paul to sleep and stop Jake Paul, his boxing career is absolutely voided. He already don't care about legacy, and just imagine he don't knock out Jake Paul, and now y'all gonna say it's not a real fight, it's an exhibition. No, we not giving no passes, bro. This Gervonta Tank Davis, he needs to put Jake Paul to sleep. I don't want to hear nothing about Jake Paul too big. No, Jake Paul chin ain't never been tested by somebody that hit as hard as Gervonta Tank Davis. Tank should put this man to sleep with ease. I'll say that respectfully. If you don't put him to sleep,
a 2-pack of ass. That shit stinks.
That's a 2-pack of ass at the highest level, and it's a musty energy at the highest level. Get it together. Get it together. Tank looks amazing. That's the Chilla Killers.
Chilla Killers.
The topic of weight has become one of the biggest debates around this matchup. Some argue that the size difference is too significant to ignore, while others believe Gervonta's refined skill set will overshadow any physical gap. Fans and experts remain divided. Some question if the fight should even happen given Jake's larger frame. Still, Tank's supporters insist that his speed, discipline, and precision will allow him to outperform larger fighters. They remind everyone that boxing isn't about size. It's about control, angles, and timing. Many feel Jake's fundamentals are still too limited to pose a real threat, and Tank's technical superiority will neutralize any size advantage Jake holds.
Happening. WBA lightweight champion Gervonta Davis, who's unbeaten in 31 professional contests, takes on the self-proclaimed problem child Jake Paul, one of the most influential and marketable global personalities. Paul and Davis square off in Miami after doubts around the fight being sanctioned in Georgia triggered a change in venue. Neither fighter can weigh more than 195 pounds. The weight is perhaps the most surprising factor. Paul has boxed most of his career around 200 pounds, the cruiserweight limit, but did tip the scales at 227 pounds when he faced off against Iron Mike Tyson last year. Davis, much smaller in stature, competes at the 135 pound mark and has also won world honours at super featherweight.
And despite some discussions about possibly dropping down to 10 ounces, the pair seem set to wear 12-ounce gloves.
And in terms of distance, despite the exhibition tag, the fight will play out over 10 3-minute rounds with 3 scoring judges at ringside, but the result will not be officially recorded.
Michael Bisping acknowledges Tank's incredible power and skill, but warns that size can't be completely ignored. He respects Gervonta's ability to adapt against bigger fighters, yet points out that physical difference always plays some role. According to Bisping, Tank can outthink and outmaneuver Jake, but the weight gap might test his endurance and resistance against heavier shots. Still, he admires Tank's determination and believes that if anyone can overcome this challenge, it's him. He concludes that although the size factor remains real, Davis's technical edge might still be enough to overcome Jake's physical advantage if he maintains a flawless strategy.
Tyson that's pushing 60 years old, for crying out loud, but at the same time pretending to be like this badass motherfucker, sending me DMs talking. He offered me a contract a long time ago, and I was like, what are you doing? I'm a retired fighter and I've got one eye. Why would I want to fight you? I wouldn't lower myself to doing that. I know a lot of people do that. They do lower themselves, if you want to say that, because of the payday, because Jake Paul is a big name. He is a social media sensation. He's a YouTube star. And now, of course, in the world of boxing, he's one of boxing's biggest stars because he puts on these spectacles like Paul versus Tyson, like Nate Diaz, because these are the fighters, these are the names that attract the eyes. Jake Paul is the B-side to almost every single one of his fights. When he fought Nate Diaz, people were tuning in for Nate Diaz. His last fight, against Cesar Chavez Jr., apparently no one watched that fight. Apparently the pay-per-views were ridiculously low. So this one's going back to Netflix on November 14th, and it's an exhibition bout. Of course, it's an exhibition bout because no athletic commission in their right mind will sanction this fight. There's just no way you can make this a legitimate fight because of the size advantage. Typically, this would be very, very dangerous and someone could get really hurt. If Jake Paul was to swing as hard as he could and connect and wobble him and hit him many, many times and not knock him out with the bigger gloves and the concussion possibilities and the brain rattling around inside the head and Jake Paul just teeing off at him as hard as he could, it's dangerous. That's why fights like this can't get sanctioned. That's why this is a exhibition bout and not a real matchup. Now listen, they're both going to get paid tremendously. They're going to make a ton of money and a lot of people are going to tune in and watch it on Netflix.
Several analysts criticize how Gervonta Davis's resume has been unfairly disrespected. They explain that fighters who share the ring with Tank often gain massive recognition afterward. Opponents like Lamont, who were relatively unknown before facing Davis, went on to become popular and successful following their bouts. Analysts argue this proves Tank's influence and star power within the sport. They reject the claim that Davis isn't the face of boxing, insisting that his fights create opportunities for others and keep fans engaged. To them, dismissing his legacy ignores how much he's elevated the profiles of many fighters just by stepping into the ring with them.